Yo, what's good, gang? How y'all doing, real ones, man? It's been a minute. It hasn't been a minute. Where did that come from? That's a straight up lie. It's been a day. Feeling good. Starting my day off on a good note. You know what I'm saying? Feeling less under the weather than I was yesterday, than I have this past week, man. I've been going through it, had a bad cough, but it's finally starting to dissipate. So just feeling better. Hope y'all doing good. It's just the struggles of being human. This shit just happens. Weather changes, go through it, die for a couple weeks, and then you get back to normal. Such is life. Today we're talking about distractions. And I've been testing this theory lately. I haven't been doing it long enough to say that I have conclusive results. But it's testing this theory about trying to figure out what does life look like when we eliminate distractions. If I eliminate distractions, if I try to stay laser focused on the few things that matter to me, what does that look like in the end? And I can say I am seeing some promising results. I am optimistic about what's to come for me in my life and my endeavors. So that's a good thing. That's a good feeling. But on the note of distractions, I mean, that kind of correlates the focus with distractions. But there's really no such thing as an objective, universal distraction. Distractions are subjective. There's not any one thing in the world that's going to distract every single person. To me, when I think about that, I think that's a good thing, honestly. I think that's a good thing. I think the fact that we all have our own vices, our own ways to cope, things that are alluring to us. We have our own temptations. Granted, we may not want these things in the long run, but that means whatever your distraction is, whatever your vice is, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to remain constant. It's malleable, it can change. You can eliminate it if you so choose, if you put in the work to. My dad, he is let's just say a big consumer, a major consumer of news outlets, everything news. Like he's up on political things, he's up on what's going on in the world. He's tapped in, all right, for lack of a better term. He knows what's going on. And when we come around each other, he's often baffled about how much I don't know what's going on in the world. um he's like, yo, how are you living? How are you getting through life like I'm living under a rock? You know what I'm saying? And it's just interesting. I kind of have to use him as my own personal news outlet. Like he taps me in on some happenings in the world. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, tying that into my point, for me, if I'm to be watching the news daily, getting invested in what's going on in the world, so many different things, to me, that's a distraction. Like, I couldn't be that tapped in to the news and also stay focused on what I feel like is important to me. You know what I'm saying? For my dad, on the other hand, that's something that calls to him. That, like, I don't, maybe calls to him is a little extreme. I don't think the news is his passion. That's just something that he likes to consume. Feel me? So to him, it may not be a distraction. I mean, actually, I guess maybe it can. It could be a distraction for him too. You know, it's not mutually exclusive, independent. What? You get what I'm saying? I trust y'all to be smart enough that I don't have to articulate it like to the T. But yeah, distractions are subjective. Like one of the universal go-tos that people often blame and consider a distraction is social media. You know, you got X, you got Meta, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok. A lot of people view these as distractions because of how much time people are putting into them, how much time we're spending behind the screens. Video games, anything that takes us off our goal, anything that's deterring us from staying on the path to from where we are to where we want to be on a consistent basis is a distraction. But those things don't have to be distractions. You can use them to your benefit. Let's talk about me because I'm not an avid social media consumer. You know, I barely touch any of those apps. Some of them I haven't touched in years. Some I haven't touched at all. But my vice has always been YouTube. I'm always watching something on YouTube, and I rationalize. You know what I'm saying? I tell myself I'm learning stuff, which I am. I am. You know, I learn music stuff. I learn chords. I've learned interval training from YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I've learned a lot of psychological information on YouTube as well. Like it can be very informative. I guess ultimately it depends on how you use it. But for me, like I use it for those, but also it's a distraction for me. I've noticed, man, it's if I had the numbers, the accumulative amount of time, if I could see that, how much time I spent watching YouTube videos over my lifespan, I would probably be baffled. I would probably want to stop today. Like quit cold turkey and never go back. That's how much time I spent on it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's months, plural, months over my life. And that's and months could be like 3, but I feel like even 3 months is probably low balling, bro. Like I've watched since its inception, YouTube has been my thing. So I say that to say to be relatable, that has been and can be and sometimes is a distraction for me. But it doesn't have to be. I've realized, man, I've been consuming so much of other people's content. I could also take the same product, I could flip it to my benefit. How could I use it and not to be distracted, but to bring something useful into the world with it? You know what I'm saying? To not use it as a time consumer, but use it for time, productivity rather. So I'm sitting out here, you know what I'm saying, downtown, recording the video, giving y'all some of my thoughts. That's an alternative. It doesn't have to be a distraction. Our distractions don't have to remain the same. We can't choose to change our patterns. We do have autonomy. We can think differently. Our brains are malleable, plastic. They don't have to remain the same. you know? Um, Speaking of like stuff being able to change, for me, I know I used to have a mean sweet tooth. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could go to the store For one thing, maybe I'm going to go grocery shopping. I see a bag of Oreos, a pack of Oreos. I could take those home and eat a sleeve, a whole sleeve, one whole roll, not think twice about it. I used to be able to, or at least I would allow myself to do that. I could probably still do it today, but like it don't even feel right no more. And that's to my point, like about just being able to change over time. You know, if I walked into a convenience store, I'd have to get me a bag of candy, like gummies, some sour gummies. Them shit spoke to me like that. Them used to be my shits, but now I get like maybe half a bag, and then I'm over it. And maybe eating isn't necessarily like a direct distraction, but if we're thinking about the goals we have in mind, those two actions are distracting me. They're deterring me from reaching my ultimate goal. If I have fitness goals in mind, which I do, right? So that's something I have to realize and start to change my eating habits, change my pattern. And now when I go into a store, like the things that used to be my vices have changed, they're not the same. I don't get that itch for sweets, you know what I'm saying, when I'm in the store now. I'm looking for stuff that's gonna be nourishing for my body. That's actually what I want. I want to put good things in my body. Versus the compulsive, I just need something to chew on. I need something sweet. Way different. Way completely different experience. Anything could be a distraction if we let it, man. But we gotta optimize our lives. We have to eliminate what's unnecessary, prioritize what's essential, so that we can stay focused, so that we can remain laser focused. And this is going back to my first point about this theory I'm testing. Like, what if I just eliminate all the unnecessary shit and just focus on what I need to do, focus on what's important to me, and just keep at that shit daily? What's my life gonna look like in a few months? I'm curious. I want to know what's on the other side of that. What's on the other side of focus and eliminating distractions? Excuse me. Hmm. Um. Maybe there was another point. I think that's enough for now, though. I'm curious. I'm gonna find out one way or another. Thanks for being here. Hope you have a wonderful day. Remain focused. Keep your vision, your goals, your aspirations in mind. And I'm see you in the next one. Deuces.